Hi, this is Brad with Pro Wrestling Junkies, and today we continue the long line of people who could put me in the hospital with very, very minimal effort. Today's guest is no different. She hails from New Jersey and was trained at the CZW Academy. She wrestles both women, and intergender matches, and you've seen her in Stardom, Beyond Wrestling, WXW, Empower, CZW. And in fact, just last week, WWE Network uploaded the WXW Femme Fatales tournament, and our guest made the finals, and I won't spoil anything. She stood across the ring from Mercedes Martinez, Lufisto, Chris Statlander, just to name a few. And earlier this year, she was named in various publications, someone to watch in 2020. So without further ado, I give you legit Leyla Hirsch. Hey, Leyla.
Oh, hello.
You doing good today?
Yes.
All right, well, we won't keep you long. We're going to go back in time and then work our way to the present.
All right, sounds good.
So you were born in Russia?
Yes, Moscow, Russia.
Moscow, Russia. My wife is from Kiev. So, did you know any English when you came here?
Nope. I had to learn. I actually had to take second grade twice.
Okay.
To learn English.
Yeah.
No, it was nerve-wracking.
Did you ever come home crying? I don't want to go back.
Yes, and so it's so funny because the first day that we actually had to go to school, my mom was like, all right, you guys have to go on the bus. And I didn't want to go at all. I was like, no, this is not for me. And then I don't, believe this, but she told me the first day at school when it ended, I came back home. I gave her a thumbs up saying, all right, it was good,
Okay.
But so, yeah.
So the only, when I met my wife here, obviously, so it's 12 years ago, the only words that I know are chiripaha, sabaka, dom, and svinya, and cocktaila.
Right, cocktaila, I know that. I don't know, it's bad because I lost my Russian.
Yeah.
I know a few words, and my geography is really bad.
Okay.
Where's she from? What?
She's Ukraine.
Ukraine. Okay, yeah.
So the words I said were rabbit, dog, house, and how is cocktaila? How are you?
Right, cocktaila.
Okay.
And then I'm sure she knows privet.
Oh, she knows. I mean, her and my
Privet,
older son.
Hello. Okay.
Once I realized my oldest son could translate for me, I stopped any effort to learn anything beyond, dog or house or anything. Okay. So you're here, you're coming up, and you started amateur wrestling in high school?
Yeah, I started in 8th grade, and then I continued through all high school, all 4 years of school.
And were there any other females on the team?
So my first year, no. And in my second year, there was one, which I'm very glad that I had this girl because she kind of guided me through, so it was just the two of us in high school.
And were the guys either hesitant to wrestle you, or did they kind of, give you a little more room?
No, some guys were intimidated, and actually sometimes what would happen is we would go to a meet, and then if a guy knew that he was going to wrestle a girl, he wouldn't want to wrestle me. So there was a time, I remember, I think it was 8th grade, I was wrestling this guy, and I was beating him. And they just stopped the match because he was like, I don't want to wrestle her anymore. So
he was already humiliated at that point. Why would he just want to finish it up?
So I automatically got the win. So I was like, all right, cool. But then in high school as well, when we had meets and all that, sometimes I wouldn't get matches because guys would refuse to wrestle me. So. Do
they take an automatic loss in that?
Yes,
forfeit?
They do. They do, yeah. They do.
People are crazy. So at what point did you say, okay, let's transition to pro wrestling?
Okay. So the only reason I even got into amateur wrestling was because of WWE. So I had no idea what wrestling was, what WWE was until I was 14 years old. I had a best friend, and it's so crazy how it all happened. Like, cause it was just one night we were just chilling, watching TV, right? And, we were just flipping through channels, and he put on Friday Night SmackDown. And he was like, do you know what this is? And I was like, no. So as I'm watching it, he's explaining it to me. And the first match I remember, it was R-Truth against Mike Knox.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah.
So that was like 14 years ago or something.
It was 2010. Yeah, it was 2010 that I discovered this. That's when it was, yeah.
Okay.
But it was them. And man, I just remember I loved it. Like, I loved R-Truth, like his dancing and all that.
Yeah.
And just the crowd and audience. And I literally said, like, that night, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I came downstairs and I was like, hey, Mom, what does it take to be a WWE superstar? And she was like, start wrestling. So that is the only reason I got into amateur wrestling, because I thought in order to be in the WWE, you had to do amateur wrestling.
Oh, wow.
So professional wrestling has been my dream since I was 14 years old. That was my number one goal.
So you graduate, you're 18 years old or 17 years old, and you want to go into pro wrestling. What's the first thing you do? Like, who do you contact? Like, did you have to research, like, training centers?
So, all right. So I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying his name because of everything that's transpired. But I got lucky because it was my senior year, right? Mm-hmm. I had this girl that would come up and train with me a little bit. And one day we were just talking about our goals, our life goals. And I said to her, I want to be a professional wrestler. And she goes, oh, well, I know a guy. And I've had several of these conversations. So I'm like, all right, who's this guy? So she gave me his number, and the guy is David Starr.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she put me in contact with him. I messaged him, and like within 2 minutes, he replied to me.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome. So then I talked to him on the phone, and he was filling me in on some stuff, on the business. And then I ended up meeting him. And the day I met him, they had a CCW show that night.
Okay.
So I talked to him a little bit, and then he introduced me to all the people from CCW. I watched the show, and I have never been to an independent wrestling show. I didn't know what it was until that night. So I went, and I fell in love with it. I was like, I have to do this now. But before this, like, I ended up getting a scholarship to wrestle in college.
Oh, okay. Oh, gosh, that's a big choice.
Yeah, so I was like, this is probably going to kill my parents. They're probably going to be very disappointed, which at some point they were. But I decided to give up my scholarship and start training. Like, after that Saturday, that following Monday, I showed up at the school and went from there.
Do you pay for it, or would your parents pay for it? Like, starting training?
I don't know I didn't have to pay.
Oh. Don't say no more.
So
did you experience like the same thing you did when you were wrestling amateur in high school? Guys, like, were they any of the same stuff, or are they professional at this point? No.
I mean, some guys are professional,
mm-hmm.
But I got lucky. I think my first year, I had a really great group of guys. I like Dave McCall, Nate Carter, Joe
mm-hmm.
Gacy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky because they really helped me, and they were very professional. They were very professional with me.
Okay, because they wanted to make somebody, not harass somebody and break them.
Yeah, they had my back.
Was there any point where you're like, I can't do this? Or was there anything that like shocked you that you had completely wasn't even on your radar?
I think with I started with CCW, and they just got to a point like where it was just too much for me with them. There's just so many problems. So I never said I want to walk away from the business, but I did want to be I want to expand to more places,
mm-hmm.
kind of spread my wings. But I feel like coming into I'm into wrestling.
Yeah.
I was warned. I was warned that you're gonna have guys that are trying to go get after you, or people are gonna use you. So I was warned. So when things happened, I was like, okay, like I'm not surprised, but I just kind of had to accept like that's how it was.
Yeah, yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. What was the first week of training really? Was that really hard on your body and just showing up every day for that?
Yeah. So with CCW, what they did is when you first came, they gave you a tryout, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So they gave you a tryout, like that was insane. And I was one of the few people that actually passed the tryout. And I think I passed it because I worked out, I did CrossFit, and amateur wrestling, man, it helped me so much. Thank God for amateur wrestling.
Well, like,
thank God.
That's why I always say, like, guys who come up with an amateur wrestling background, they know how to put the work in, which is, you know, such a huge part. So, go on. I'm sorry.
No. So yeah, the work ethic.
So you ended up, you've wrestled in Japan, in Germany. Is there, when you're wrestling someone, say from Japan for the first time, is the language barrier make working with them like really difficult, or it's just like you kind of figure it out?
It was very hard. It was very challenging. So, you know, I think I got lucky because Hannah Kimura, she, out of all the girls, she spoke the most English.
Okay.
So I was actually able to go to her a little bit, and she would translate a lot of the stuff. Because a lot of it would be tag team matches. So when someone would say something, I'd look at her like, okay, what'd she say? You know. It was very difficult. It was.
Were you able to pick up on it and get past that?
Yeah.
Working the ring?
Oh yeah, you had to. Like, you know, like I had to adjust to it. You have to, like, you know.
So like when you're in Japan and Germany, like, do you have to learn like a different style, or like adapt to a different style of wrestling, or like the fans?
Yeah, so in Japan, like with the fans, they're very quiet. They are.
Okay. Really?
Oh yeah, they're really like, they'll clap, but like it's not like the fans here where they'll like get up and they'll be like, oh, you know, they're
banging
like very
on the boards.
Yeah, exactly. They're like very respectful.
Is it hard to wrestle with a crowd like that? Like where you're not getting huge explosions of reaction?
Honestly, to me, nah. It was okay. I thought I would have trouble with that, but no. Because like when something did happen, like when something big did happen, they would respond.
Okay.
You know, so that was good.
And what about in Japan? Are the fans compared to here or to Germany?
It's different. It's different.
So
yeah. And you were talking about like styles. I feel like I didn't really have to adjust too much because my style, it's like strong style. I love hard hitting. I love getting hit hard. I know that makes like no sense, but I just love that brutality. So when it came to Germany, I was like, yeah, I'm that's what I want to do. And Japan, that was like awesome for me because like I love fighting. Like, you know what I mean? I just love going in the ring and putting on a show for the fans. You know, giving them something real.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I was letting my kids watch your matches, and it's like, oh, she's ferocious. I'm like, yes, like, you know, that's what she has to be.
That's what I have to be.
All right, I'm gonna wrap things up so I won't keep you any longer. Are you, what are your goals for this year? You know, the rest of this year. Can you wrestle as much because of the coronavirus? Are the shows less and less, or?
Well, so like after Japan, I was supposed to go to Germany.
Okay.
For another tour, and then that got pushed back.
Oh, yeah.
And I was supposed to go in September again, but that again got postponed. So that stinks, you know.
Yeah.
But I've had already several bookings that have like reached out to me, promoters that reached out to me, but I think I'm gonna start training again in September. And then in October ease into the bookings, because I'm telling you, like in ring right now, I'm out of shape. So,
oh really? I'm definitely out of shape.
Yeah, but like I've been like consistently working out like outside of wrestling, just trying to keep my body in shape.
Yeah.
But I feel like the fans deserve the best of me. So like when I do get back in the ring,
Uh-huh.
I want to be good. I want to be sharp for them,
Like pick up where you left off.
Pick off exactly.
Can I ask another question? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And I've always been, is it difficult to have a relationship and be a wrestler?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it
Yeah.
because you just don't have time, or is it like you're always traveling and?
No, like, so the relationship I'm in with now, it works out great.
Okay.
But like I was one of the people that said like if I got in wrestling, I would never date a wrestler.
Okay.
It just never turns out good.
Uh-huh.
So, like my first relationship did not turn out good, but thankfully the person I'm with right now, it's really good. So hopefully stay that way. But it is challenging. It is challenging.
I bet. Well, congratulations that you're able to make it work. All right. I'm going to give you 5 random questions, yes and no questions, and you can choose to answer them or decline, but I don't think they're anything too racy. Okay.
No, you're good.
All right, first question. Would you date someone who's over 7 feet tall?
No.
No. Have you ever been bitten by a mosquito on the eye or eyelid?
No.
I have. It disfigured me. Do you believe in ghosts?
I'm starting to.
Okay.
I'm starting to.
Have you ever intentionally spit on someone?
Like outside of wrestling or just?
Yeah, outside of wrestling.
No, I have not.
Okay. And then the final question is, have you ever had a long one-way conversation with a pet?
No.
No, okay. Well, now I know this information and I can continue on with my day. Thank you. All right, legit Leyla Hirsch, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talk. Well, we're both sitting down, just not together. But I would love to have you on again, as things pick up in autumn, and we'll keep an eye out for you. And thanks again.
Thank you for having me. That was fun. This was fun.
My pleasure. Take care.